Welcome back to the Off the Bench podcast, episode 3, with your hosts Kobe and Aiden. Today we're going to be talking about the play-in race, recent NBA news, leaders for the season awards, and the upcoming UFC fight night featuring Leon Edwards and Sean Brady. Kobe, how are you feeling?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. It's been a good week. NBA's been an amazing week. Lots been going on this last week, which is great for us. A lot to talk about. So we're starting with the play-in race and how that's looking to shape up. Now I have here the teams right now in their standings with their records.
Yep.
I'm going to go through the East. You tell me what you think, who you think's going to win, and how we think that's going to play out.
Sounds good.
All right, so right now in the East, in 7th, we have the Atlanta Hawks.
Yep.
Now, the Hawks are 32 and 36 with 2 losses in a row. The Magic, 32 wins, 37 losses. They're next. Bulls, 29 and 39. Then followed by the Heat, 29 and 39. But the Heat have lost 8 in a row. We always have to remember they have Wiggins now, not Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Now, again, in the play-in picture, teams, I think they will stay in the play-in picture. 6 games away, from 6th place in the Detroit Pistons, and they are 5 games out from 11. So I think for either team to get up or down, it's going to be some crazy news.
The end of the season would have to go pretty shocking for some of those teams to not make it. I think the Hawks and the Magic are pretty set in the play-in, even if they do go on a little bit of a losing streak. The Hawks have almost a 10-game lead over the Raptors, who are just outside the play-in.
Yeah.
So the Hawks would have to go, pretty shockingly to end the year.
And I just don't see them doing that.
Me neither. Neither do I.
I think it's pretty set. I don't know, like the order may not be set, but I do think we already have set the games.
Yeah.
I do believe it will be a Hawks Magic for that 7th seed.
Yeah.
And it will be a Bulls Heat for that 8th seed, trying to play for the next week.
In those matchups, who would you take out of the Hawks and the Magic? Because personally, I would go Orlando. I think Orlando has a lot of size. I think the Hawks have the better player.
I would go Orlando too. I think Paolo Banchero, being that size, like how are Atlanta going to deal with that?
No, Atlanta just Paolo. They got Franz, they got Wendell.
Well, yeah, but I just don't know how they're going to deal with Paolo.
Yeah.
And I also think that they have, like, the Hawks have Trae Young. That's about not it, but
I just don't know how well Trae Young matches up against Orlando's size.
He's been a little bit inconsistent this year. He's been a little bit inconsistent. I do have the Magic winning that, which means that they would play the Celtics.
Yeah.
I don't think it really matters who wins. Celtics will sweep or gentlemen sweep either team.
Was it last year that the Magic versed Boston? Or did they? No, they versed Cleveland. And that was a good series. Yeah.
It was a good series.
They versed Cleveland.
That was a very different Cleveland team too.
It was.
Much more depleted.
Yeah.
Bulls Heat, I have the Bulls.
I also have the Bulls.
I think without Jimmy, they don't have a go-to guy. They don't have a guy to go to other than Tyler Hero. And I don't think Tyler Hero is a good enough guy to be a go-to, really.
I think Tyler Hero, I was having this conversation the other day about Miami.
Yeah.
I think they're in a weird position, right? Because even though Bam has been an all-star and Hero was an all-star this year, I think both guys are number 2 and 3 options. I don't think either of them are your number 1.
I don't believe they're number 1s at all. I think look at the statistics of the number 1s versus these guys. They're just so outweighed. Bam's good. I think he used to be better. He's not having a good year.
No, but he has a bigger load on him this season.
Yeah.
Especially with everything that happened with
But there's some plays that helps.
There is, 100%.
And he doesn't seem to be that player that it helps, which strikes me as he is a number 2 option. Tyler Hero, when you look back and see when he was a great, like really playing good, that was when he was the 3 option coming off the bench even, when he was that 6th man option.
He did win 6th man one year.
That was when he was really going good. So having him as your number 1, I don't think is great. So
I think
Wiggins is a little bit inconsistent.
Well, Wiggins isn't the guy, right? I think at the moment you've got. I reckon their mentality is probably that they have Bam and Hero as a 1A, 1B.
Yep.
But neither of those guys are good enough to, even if they do win the play-in, neither of them are good enough to go and win a playoff series.
No. And like, playing's hard 'cause it's one game.
Yeah.
Sample size. But I still think the Bulls take them.
I would also take the Bulls in that matchup.
But again, I don't believe it really matters. I think the Hawks, who I have losing that 7 and 8 game, will beat the Bulls or the Heat.
Yeah.
So I think the Hawks will end up playing Cleveland. Again, will not matter.
Mm-hmm.
It'll just be an over series. I don't think the East is that interesting with playing. I think it's much more interesting in the West.
I think what we've said so far is pretty much how it's going to go. I think the Magic are going to beat the Hawks. I think the Bulls are going to beat the Heat. And then for the Bulls to advance, they would have to go and then beat the Hawks.
Yep.
That would be a fun game.
Be a good game, but I don't see it happening. Like, it's really just like let's finish our year off well.
I would then pick the Hawks in that matchup versus the Bulls. So,
yeah.
And then you would have the Hawks versus the Cavs, and sorry, they're not beating the Cavs.
It's going to be a 4-0 sweep.
It's going to be a sweep.
I think the East first round stop will be boring.
I think you've got a couple of good matchups.
I think there's one good matchup.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's one good matchup, and I think that is the Pistons Knicks.
I think Bucks Pacers would be a good matchup as well, especially after they got into it a couple of times last season.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that close of a series.
I think it will be though. I could see that one go on 7 games.
Nah, see, I can see Knicks Pistons being a good series if Pistons play really good.
Well, I mean, they've been playing well all season.
So that's why I think they will be a good series.
Yeah.
And then, like, Cavaliers and the Celtics, they're obviously, in my eyes, going straight to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes it also that little bit boring in the East because there's no suspense in my eyes. Like, even if the Bucks Pacers have a good series, it's that cool. But you're going to lose.
Now you're
going to
get beat by the Cavaliers.
Yeah. Same as the Knicks. Pistons will that cool, but now you're going to get smashed.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a fun one to watch, kind of like that Hawks Bulls game where it'll be fun to watch, but it'll be a bit of a waste of a fun series. And then moving on to the West, which I think is way more fun.
Yeah.
Here's how the numbers line up. I've got it from 5th to 11th. It's close. Grizzlies 43 and 26. We all know Grizzlies, the Rockets, the Lakers, really close.
Yeah.
6th, we have the Warriors, 39 and 29. Need to note, they have been 16 and 3 since adding Jimmy. Clippers, 38 and 30. They've won 3 in a row. Oh, no, sorry, I missed the Timberwolves in 7th. They were 40 and 30, 8 and 1 their last 9 games.
Yeah. I
Then
believe
the
they're
Clippers.
13 and 0 with the Randall in their last game, like 13 games that he's played as well.
Mm.
So when they have a fully healthy team,
They did just lose to the Pacers with Randall.
oh, okay.
That was that. That's that one.
Okay, well, 13 and 1.
That's still
a very good record.
It's an amazing record. And again, Clippers 38 and 30. They've won 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Kings not that interesting, but they're 34 and 33. Then we have the Mavericks 33 and 36. They've lost 3 in a row. They have no Luka. They have no AD. No Kyrie right now. And we have the Suns with 32 and 37.
Yeah.
They might sneak in. I think they will take Mavericks' spot, but they're not going to make any headways.
Yeah.
So that is how it lines up. First question, though, for you. For the Mavericks, what is their path to make it in?
To make it in?
Yeah, what does their path look like?
They need to pray. They need to pray that Anthony Davis, he just got sent to the G League as a part of his rehab. Mm-hmm. They need to pray that he comes back, plays really well. Mm-hmm. They need to hope that someone else from their team steps up.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, that's kind of it. If things stay the way they are, they've lost 3 in a row. They're 2 and 8 in their last 10. Mm-hmm. They're not a good team at the moment. They're not deep.
They've been horrible. Let's be honest. Like, there has been nothing. There's been no energy, and it's hard. Like, they rocked up with 6 guys warming up the other day.
Yeah.
How are you meant to get up and think, yes, we're going to make a push here, when that happens.
Yeah.
And it would have been so disheartening for them having obviously traded away Luka, which was an oh shit moment for him, all the Mavericks players. But then to have AD go down almost straight away, then Kyrie go down.
I think Kyrie going down is the hardest part, right? Because I think, you know, Luka gets traded, everyone's upset. You get AD back, he has a great first game, but he goes out with that injury.
Yeah.
But you still have Kyrie, and Kyrie was hooping. He was playing so well.
But him doing his ACL is a backbreaker.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I think the Mavs are slipping out. I would say the Suns are just going to slide in and take that spot.
Yeah, I don't think.
As you said though, I don't really see them doing anything with that.
I don't think they're particularly that good. I was watching them the other day against the Lakers, and no LeBron, Jackson Hayes just got back.
Yeah.
No Rui Hachimura. And the Lakers team took care of business, and it looked bad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do you look bad against a team that, like, Jackson Hayes has his first game back, so you don't expect him to play particularly well. He played really well.
I think the Suns are...
But that is a bad sign for the Suns.
The Suns are weird. Like, on paper, when you look at their roster...
They're a good roster.
They're a good team, but it doesn't click. It doesn't match. I think I've seen clips almost every game of KD and Mike Budenholzer going at it.
I think the biggest problem with them right now, though, is you look at them on paper and you're okay. You got KD, you got Devin Booker, and you got Bradley Beal.
Mm-hmm.
What's all their strengths?
Well, they're all
scorers.
They're all the same skill set. You don't have any
They all score.
playmakers.
Exactly.
Defenders.
So then the thing becomes, okay, so what happens on defense if those three are out there? Then it becomes, again, okay, cool, but we can't just ISO the whole time.
No.
You guys can't all drop 30 a game. You're all very similar in the fact that you all are just scorers. And that is not a good team makeup.
No. Well,
it's a good
They tried
paper.
to make Booker more of a playmaker, and they've tried to make Beal more of a playmaker. But when that's naturally not what they do, it's going to take an adjustment.
Yeah.
And when you go and you trade for Beal, that's the team saying, all right, we want to win now. And when you make that move and you're telling your franchise player to change his play style to fit someone else,
that's not how you win.
That's not a winning mentality.
No.
That's not a winning process. So
I think they would have been better to go out and get
no one. They didn't have to get anyone. If they just didn't trade for Bradley Beal.
No, but if they went to trade for somebody, they would have been better to go and get like a Marcus Smart when we gave him away, when Boston gave him away. Because that was similar times, but that would have been a better move, I think, because then you get defense.
But I also don't think they needed him because they
didn't need him.
They traded for Tyus Jones, who's
but what I'm saying
better than
is,
Smart.
if they were going to do that trade, right now, gonna get Bradley Beal.
Right.
And they said, nah, we got our heart set, we're doing the trade. Even though on paper Marcus Smart's not as good as Bradley Beal, for the makeup of the team, a player like him would have been a much better option, even if he's worse on paper. Because then you get the defense, like a defense playmaker. That type of role would be better.
I still think they would have just been better off.
Like a Drew Holiday.
Absolutely. Yeah, they would never get Drew.
No, but like that type of player. Instead, they go out and get another scorer, which is not a team thing. It's an individual thing.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying. I just think that, if they had never traded for him in the first place, they would be in a much better spot.
Yep.
Moving on, the Kings, they're kind of just there at this point.
I think they could slip down to 10th as well.
I think it depends. It depends how they play, right? Like they're very. I know they're a weird team to watch because they have plenty of options. But I don't know. I think when you trade De'Aaron Fox mid-season, it was a little bit out of the blue.
Yeah, and it's not like they traded him for someone that they thought would have really done a much better job. Like you watched what happened to DeMar and Levine in Chicago.
Yeah.
You saw it was like a playing team, which is what they are right now.
Yeah.
So
that's what
you went to trade, but you didn't really trade up.
No, they kind of just traded, but they stayed where they were. They didn't really.
They kind of they stayed where they were, but I would say they traded down because he's older. Like if you make a trade and you stay the exact same, but you just acquired a guy who's on the other side of his career, over the hump.
Oh, he's not over the hump.
No, but he's older in comparison. It's like, well, I think that's a slight trade down.
I just think it was a very linear move. Like they didn't get better, they didn't get worse. They just kind of stayed as is.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
they're kind of boring. Clippers. I mean, I don't think they're going to do much either.
I mean, the Clippers. See, here's where I'll disagree with you. Okay.
No, I don't think they're doing much.
I think the Clippers could get out of the play-in.
Yeah.
They're a game back. I could see them going up to like 6, where the Warriors are at the moment.
No.
They've been playing really well.
See, I think the Timberwolves and the Warriors are in such good form. They've sustained it over such a period of time. I don't see them just dropping back. I think they're kind of running into it. And, like, that means they would have to beat out the Timberwolves and the Warriors, right? I can see beating one of them out, but not both.
But they're both the same. They're both 17 games behind. If the Clippers win a game and both of them lose, then the Clippers go up to 6. Like, it's that quick.
Yeah.
I could see them jumping up to 6. And like they've won 3 in a row. They've been playing really well. So have the Timberwolves, so have the Clippers.
They have, that's what I'm saying about. Like, they're all playing so well. I think if I looked at the teams and I said, okay, and I said, Aiden, who are you taking in a series out of those 3 teams? You're taking the Clippers last out of those 3 teams. That's what I mean by I don't see them doing much, because those teams seem like teams that could do something. So even if the Clippers get into the playoffs, they're a first-round exit. And I think the other teams might be a first-round exit, but I could also see the other 2 going into the second round.
I think it's very 50-50.
No, I don't think. Very 50-50. I think they're not gonna.
I'll be honest. I think they're all. I think the Timberwolves are the best of the 3. I don't think the Warriors and the Clippers are that much different.
I think the Warriors are a bit better. Yeah.
I don't think they're that much.
Just from my eye test, from watching them. I would say the Warriors are a bit better than the Clippers.
Okay.
That's just how I look at it.
Okay, no, that's fine. Like, you know.
Yeah, agree to disagree there. And then I had the Grizzlies in there more just to show that it's pretty close.
See, I think the Grizzlies are...
Oh, they're clear.
They're going to be top 4.
But the reason I put them in there was to show, like, even the Rockets aren't that far away. That's how close this West is to the Warriors and Timberwolves. It's really close. And
it is pretty close.
Like, I think the Grizzlies are through. I didn't actually write anything about the Grizzlies. I just put them there.
Okay.
Just to kind of show this is how close they are.
Okay, so I thought you wrote them because you were going to make a statement that they were going to drop.
No. I just wrote them in there to have, this is where they're at. This is how far the other teams are in comparison to how far away the East is.
Okay, well that makes more sense. I was waiting for you to say something crazy about them, but as long as
I think they're playing pretty well.
As long as you have them in that top 5.
Yeah, I have them in top 5.
Okay. Yeah. All right, next up, we kind of touched on it a little bit. But just some
touched on one of the awards,
well, I was thinking more Anthony Davis return.
Oh, yeah.
But we kind of touched about that.
We're going to touch that first. Yeah.
How would you feel if you were Anthony Davis? Your team is 10th in the West, pretty close to missing the play-in completely. But how would you feel? Do you think they're maybe rushing him back a little bit so then they can just get that play-in spot?
Yeah.
Because if I'm him, or if I'm looking from the outside, right? Anthony Davis is pretty injury prone.
Yeah.
And like while he's been healthy this year up until that Mavs game, with how the team's sitted, I would let him just rest and then come back next year with a near fully healthy team, a better draft pick, rather than rush him back, potentially re-aggravate that injury.
I think from the Mavericks' point of view, I think there's a couple of points I have. One, for me, it's like, well, I'm not there. I actually don't know how he feels.
Yeah.
How he seems. Like, he could be the one pushing himself in.
Oh, 100% he could. 100%.
And it could. And for me, I think that's the way it's going. Because I think a team that's desperate to get their big gun back, why would you risk playing him in a G League game?
Well,
knowing he's injury, but knowing he's injury prone, wouldn't you rather let him do another week's worth of rehab however long they want him to do it, not play a full game and come in and play modified minutes. I think a team that is desperate for their player would do that. Over playing him a G League game, then having to do the modified minutes, right? Because I think the G League game could be dangerous for him.
I don't think he's actually playing a game, man. He's just practicing with them for reps. Like Klay Thompson's done it with the Warriors. Steph's done it with the Warriors. It's a pretty common thing. I'm pretty sure that's just what he's doing.
But I'm saying for a team rushing him back, you want him around the team, right? You want him there.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is I think he's the one wanting to come back really quickly. And the Mavs are going, great, we want you to, but this is the plan that we have to go through. So the Mavs are doing it more level-headed. It's not the Mavs going, we need you, we need you, we need you. It's AD going, I want to play, I want to play. And Mavs going, okay, this is the way we do things here.
Yeah, okay.
We want to make sure you come back healthy, and we want you to ramp it up properly.
I can kind of see it from both sides, right? Like if you're the Mavs, I would probably be pushing a little bit because of the backlash from Luka. He had a good game. You want the fans to feel engaged and excited about something, which they're definitely not at the moment. But then if you're Anthony Davis, you also got traded from the Lakers kind of out of the blue. You've probably got a chip on your shoulder. You want to come back and prove something.
I reckon he's the one really pushing it. That's just what I think.
I think it's a very 50-50. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if a report came out that AD was pushing for it, nor would I be surprised if one came out saying that the Mavs were really...
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, but I just think the way it's shaped up, it seems like the Mavs are being quite level-headed about it.
Yeah, okay.
And that, to me, just with the way they've been lately, they haven't been level-headed as an organisation.
I don't even know if it's the organisation.
It's just Nico.
It's just Nico.
But that's a big part of the organisation. He can't just do those things without conversations.
I mean, he didn't. He traded Luka without, really telling them. He didn't tell any of the coaches.
Yeah, but I'm saying the people upstairs too.
I read something that they would have had to know. They said no, that he brought the idea up.
Yeah, I heard this, and they said no.
And they said no, and then he did it anyway.
But, how can you do that anyway? Someone's got to sign off on it.
No, he does. He's the GM.
Yeah, but, what I mean is, I don't get how he can just do that. There would be someone else that has to know. Right?
Well, there were people that knew. They just didn't want him to do it.
No, but, there would be people that knew and were like, oh, he's doing it. Knew it was just going to happen, not him asking.
I reckon there were probably people that had an idea. But I think based on everything that I've seen, it kind of just sounds like he went out and did it because it's what he wanted.
I reckon someone would have had to know. It's just
it's one of those things where
we're not there.
No, we can talk about it all we want, but it's all skepticism.
We're not there.
We don't know what talks actually happened. We're going just off of reports.
You're coming off Luka even yelling at Jason Kidd saying you knew.
Yeah.
And it's well, did he? If Luka's that angry, I get Luka's probably just yelling at the guy. But I feel like if you're yelling at your coach, you're not going to say you knew that I was going to get traded. You're more going, look what you're missing out on.
Yeah.
Him saying you knew was someone must have told him Jason Kidd knew what was going to happen. That's the kind of thing. So I think it's all skepticism. I think we can talk about it all we want. Yeah. We will not get anywhere.
It's a bunch of myths.
Yeah. And then also with the AD thing, I think, the Mavs need him so badly right now, right? Because they're going to drop out.
Yeah.
If I was the Mavs, and I don't know if you would agree, there's 15 games left. The seasons are gone. You're not doing anything. Even if you bring him back and you get to the 9th seed or the 8th seed and you make it into the playoffs.
Yeah.
What's that really getting you?
Well, that's what I mean.
You drop down to the 11th seed, cool, I'll get a cool draft pick.
Well, that's
a better draft pick, and that's what you said before.
If I was the Mavs, that's what I would be.
Yeah, and you're just making sure he's healthy, and you go, okay, we know this happened. Even if you're Nick Harris, you're going, look, we know this happened, but that's not because of the trade. You're going to see what the trade's done for us next year because we had A, B, and C get injured. We had Kyrie and AD get injured, and that's what's happened this year. Instead of bringing him back and making him back, cool, we made the playoffs, guys. But our future's still a bit in the balance. We don't really know what's going to happen now.
Yeah.
That's what I think. But moving on.
We'll get
to the awards. End of season awards coming up soon. Obviously, they don't announce it straight after the season. They announce it halfway through the playoffs.
Oh, it staggers.
Staggers, yeah.
Depending on the award, they release them.
But like it's around about that second round-ish.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so we kind of touched a little bit on MVP last week.
We did the MVP, I think, quite lengthy last week.
We mutually
Before you
agreed.
made an outrageous comment.
We mutually agreed on Shea.
I think now, even though Shea's boosted his.
I think so
case,
as well.
I don't even know if it's Shea boosting it. I think it's the Nuggets ruining Jokic's case. Because I think the way they've kind of lost the last couple of games.
They've had a few bad losses, but that's not by Jokic. You know
it's not by Jokic, but the whole argument has been, well, we're not the bottom seed, right? We're not fourth or lower. And right now I don't know what they are. They'd be third, maybe fourth.
Third. They're tied with Houston for number 2.
But I think the games they did drop is what hurt them. The teams they dropped them to.
Yeah.
Like, they beat the Lakers with almost the G League team.
Yeah.
By 2.
And they lost to the Wizards.
They lost to the Wizards the next game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, back-to-back games where you're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Like, you guys shouldn't be playing like that. Hurts his case a little bit. And then he doesn't play against the Warriors and they get a win.
Yeah.
And they looked good.
Well, I think
I was watching, they looked half decent, except for all the turnovers. It was like 40-odd turnovers.
There was a lot of turnovers.
Other than that, though, like, they looked half decent.
Well, I think
what's
pretty much what we said last week, we can say the same thing. I mean, Shea's deserving. I think he's having a better season.
Yep.
They're winning more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think we can just leave it at that. We spent a good amount of time talking about the MVP last week.
I was actually listening to something. So I'll go through it for a minute, right? Give me a minute.
Yeah.
I was watching First Things First, right? Nick Young was talking. Not Nick Young. Wait, one of the guys on there.
Right.
Not Chris Broussard, the other one. And he was talking and he said, this is the MVP numbers from last year from Jokic.
Mm-hmm.
Jokic won it over Luka, who Luka was 33-8-8. He won it over Luka because Luka's team was not the top seed.
Yep.
He was not the number 1 seed. Luka was like 20, Jokic was like 28-10 or whatever it was, something like that, right?
Yep.
But the only reason Jokic won it over Luka was because his team was the top seed. He was the number 1 seed, right?
And that's what we were saying last week. That's a factor.
So then, yeah. But
By
what I'm
that
saying
same
is,
logic.
so then by that same logic, Jokic is not allowed to win it this year.
Yeah.
So if you're going off Jokic deserved the MVP last year over Luka, then Shea has to be your MVP.
Well, we kind of
if you agree, if you
week.
think, because I think Luka played quite well last year, but I still had Jokic as the MVP. That's why I do believe Shea's the MVP. I believe if you had Luka as the MVP, you're the people allowed to say Jokic is.
Well, we kind of
because
talked
you
about it
already did
last week, but the criteria for it changes every year.
Yes.
And, you can see even just, going from last season to this season, how the criteria has changed.
It was really interesting the way you
because
put
all
it.
the same people, as you said, that would have mentioned that as a point for Jokic last year, no one's saying that as a point for Shea this season.
Is, for me, why I would say yeah. It was just interesting that I loved the way he put it. If you said he was the MVP last year, you're not allowed to say he's the MVP this year. And I thought, great. Because then you're branching and saying, you said this was the reason last year, stick with your reason this year.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on, we got Defensive Player of the Year.
Who did you have?
So I'm going to read you the list first
Okay.
of the top 4 guys.
Okay.
Then I want you to tell me who you have,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll talk about who I have.
Okay.
Number 1, they had Evan Mobley.
Yep.
He's the betting favourite right now. Lou Dort was second. Draymond Green was third, and Jaren Jackson Jr. was fourth. Now, the hard thing about defense is there's not really that many stats to go off.
No.
There's not really that many. You can play really good defense and not have the stats. So,
Well, I think all the stats they go off of blocks and steals.
Yeah.
They go off of defensive plus minus, for and against, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's really defensive rating, but that's kind of it. Like, if you're the casual fan, you kind of just look at blocks and steals.
That's what
and
I'm
kind of
saying.
it.
And they're kind of misleading at times.
They can be 100%.
They can be misleading.
100%.
Because a lot of those guys who are defensive player of the years and are up there, it can be hard for them to get those because they're always guarding the top guys.
Yeah.
So then their numbers look almost the same as, say, for a Draymond, he might have the same amount of steals as, like, Kuminga. And it's like, well, that's because Draymond's guarding their best guy versus Kuminga's not.
Yeah.
And they're on the same team, right?
Yeah.
So there's that thing as well. For you, who did you have leading the Defensive Player of the Year race?
I had no one in that top 4. I had Dyson Daniels.
Okay.
I think Dyson Daniels is well deserving of DPOY this year. I think he is carrying the perimeter defense for the Atlanta Hawks. He's leading the league in steals per game and steals total by a large margin, right?
He is.
He's an excellent shot blocker for a guard. Like you said, he's always got the toughest matchup, and he's an excellent. He does great on those matchups.
Yeah.
And it's been an all-season long thing that you've seen Dyson Daniels 8 steal games, Dyson Daniels 7 steals, 4 blocks.
Yeah.
All season long, there's been clips of him in the clutch, not just throughout the whole game, but especially in the clutch, of him locking down the best player on the other team and getting that crucial steal, forcing that turnover. I have Dyson Daniels for my DPOY.
Defensive Player of the Year is a hard one because it's kind of like, I really like MVP. It's kind of like the NFL MVP, where it's like kind of position based.
It's a big man award.
Guards really struggle.
It's a big man award, 100%.
And I think
it's
actually because of how
well
flashy it is, being a big man defending. Like, you get those blocks that are snatch blocks. You get those massive ones that are like, oh, that was crazy. When you lock up a guy, and right now as well, when you've got Jokic, you've got Giannis, when you lock up a guy like that, that puts you on anybody's radar, even if it's a 2-game sample.
But you could say the same thing about Daniels.
Yes, but it's not as much because when you're out on the perimeter, it's so much easier for guys to still look good without having to score on you. With the catch and shoots.
That's a point that I was going to make, right? When Dyson Daniels is guarding them, they don't really look good.
No, they don't. But I'm just saying, that's why I think it's hard for him to win it because it's such a big man award. I'm just more arguing why it's a big man award. I didn't have Dyson Daniels.
It's a big man award, 100%. But I had Dyson Daniels for that award.
I didn't actually have Dyson Daniels. No. He wasn't even on, like, he was on my radar. I know he's got the amount of steals and all that, but he wasn't on my radar as like, oh, he's going to be my decoy.
Yeah.
I had Evan Mobley.
Okay.
I know he's number 1. It's kind of boring. You had the guy who's number 1. But I think he's played all year really good. He's, as a defender, he's been the backbone of the Cleveland Cavaliers defense all season long. And he's a big reason why they're 54-12, is it? 54-12, whatever it is.
11, I think.
11?
Yeah.
54-11. He's a big reason for it. He's the backbone of the best team's defense.
Yeah.
That's a big reason for me. Like, it's similar to the MVP. Your team's number 1. And there's got to be a reason. Garland's a good defender.
No, he's not.
He's not bad.
No, he's not.
Yes.
He's not good. He's not a good defender.
He's not bad. As a perimeter defender.
You did not just make that point.
He's a good defender.
No,
he's not bad.
I'm sorry.
I was about to go through the list
Darius
of
Garland
every single player in their
and
team.
Donovan Mitchell.
I was about to say Donovan's not a good defender. I was going to make the point they don't have a good perimeter duo. Let me finish my point.
Okay.
I was going to say Darius Garland is good. Like, he's sound. He's not bad, right? Donovan's not a good defender.
Okay.
So their perimeter defense isn't strong as a duo.
No.
That's the point I was trying to make. So someone's got to be a gun. And Evan Mobley is still keeping their team with 11 losses. If your duo at guard is not good as a duo.
But their duo at big makes up for that, right?
That's what I'm saying. And he's the leader of it.
But that's not all Evan Mobley. A lot of that is because of Jared Allen.
Yeah, but he's the leader, right? And if you had to pick Evan Mobley or Jared Allen to go, and have to switch on to someone in the perimeter.
Oh, you'd pick Mobley.
So he's a bit more versatile. That's just why I have him. I think he's having a great year.
Okay.
That's just why I have him, and I think it's a big man.
Okay. Yeah.
One of those.
So you got Mobley, I got Dyson Daniels for DP.
Rookie of the year.
I had Steph Castle.
Yeah, so
I think
I did have a point here. I had like an honourable mention, Jared McCain, as like he was amazing at the start of the year until he is out for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
It was just one of those points where I was like, we have to bring up that Jared McCain was really good.
I think especially with Philly's recent injuries, Paul George now being out for the season, if McCain had stayed healthy, I think that award would have been his.
That's what I'm saying. Like 100%. I just had to bring him up. I know he's not even on the ladder right now because he got injured. He's been out so long, but I had to bring him up as if he didn't get injured,
it was his.
He'd probably win that because when Tyrese Maxey went out,
I would have picked McCain. If he'd stayed healthy, I would have
dropped
picked McCain.
30, then he dropped 34 in pretty much back-to-back games.
Yeah.
He was on and then he hurt himself.
Yeah, I would have picked McCain if he'd stayed healthy.
Mm-hmm. But right now I got Stephen Castle.
Right now I got Steph Castle.
I don't think it's that strong of a rookie season.
I think he's having a really good rookie year.
In comparison to other rookie of the years. That's what I'm trying to like.
His second half of the season has been much stronger than his first.
Yeah.
But I just don't think in general there's.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think the rookies are actually that good this year, in comparison to other years.
No.
Like rookies usually getting rookie of the year have much better seasons.
Yeah.
And I think Jared McCain might have had that much better season. He was 15, 3, and 2 when he got injured, and that was when he wasn't really playing a lot at the start of year 2. So you bring that into how does his form fare at the end of the year?
Yeah.
He might have put that up to 17 to 18 points a game. I just think it's not a strong rookie class. I don't. But Stephen Castle's my winner for so far.
Yeah.
Jalen Wells is there, but he's not going to get it.
No, I think
I don't think it's that close right now.
You've got a bunch of guys between probably 2 and 5 that are all close, but none of them are going to win it. You could say, like Jalen Wells is having a great year. He was number 1 at some point.
I think maybe straight after McCain got injured.
He was up there.
So they would have taken McCain off and it's gone, well, he's out for the rest of the year. He's not winning that.
Alex Sarr spent some time at number 1. There's been a lot of movement. There's been a lot of guys that have been in and out of that top 5.
I think that shows a weak rookie class a bit because none of them are moving with great numbers.
No.
They're moving just in and out of form.
Yeah.
It's just like they're just an average rookie class.
Yeah. I mean, compared to the last couple of years where there's been, 1, 2, 3 big names and then a few surprises here and there, this class is definitely weaker. I think this class I view as, a bunch of really good role players. There's no one.
There's a
really,
few good starters in there and stuff.
A few good starters, a few good role players, but there's no one where I'm like, he's awesome.
I think Jared McCain is the one that could be like a.
I could never view him as a star. I think at best he's a good 6 million.
He's not a star because he hasn't proven to be a star.
No, but I'm talking about projection. I don't think
I wouldn't say he's going to be a star, but I was more saying he could be a really good starter.
Yeah.
Which is what I could see happening.
Yeah.
6 man of the year. A bit closer. 6 man of the year is a very close award right now.
Yep.
Betting odds say it. The numbers say it. There's 3 guys for me that are really close and that I couldn't take off.
Mm-hmm.
Coincidentally, they're all in the top 3.
Yeah.
But I think that's because they're...
Well, it's a close award this year.
Yeah, they're the clear 3.
Yeah.
So the numbers have Peyton Pritchard, Malik Beasley, and Ty Jerome.
Yeah.
What do you think about that list?
I mean, I think all 3 guys would be deserving, but I'm going Malik Beasley.
Okay.
I have Malik Beasley. I think out of the 3, he is the most well-rounded.
Yep, I can see that.
I don't think the Pistons would be anywhere near as good this year without his contributions. Yep. He's shooting an amazing percentage from 3. I think it's like 43, 44% on a lot of attempts. I think it's like 6 attempts a game.
I know his field goal percentage is 44.
He's shooting lights out from 3. He's the most well-rounded. I think, like I said, you gotta attribute the Pistons' success. He's definitely a large factor in coming over. So I got Beasley for the 6 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, no surprises for me. We all know what I'm going to say. Who's my guy?
The most overrated guy on the list, Peyton Pritchard.
That's outrageous. I do have Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah.
I think Peyton Pritchard, he's been so good this year for us.
He's been good.
And he's had some really big games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that 43-point game with him and Derek White. Derek White had 41. I think when we have two of the more inconsistent stars in the league.
Yeah.
He has been so good at coming off the bench and going, okay, Jalen's not having a good game. I'm going to have to step it up today. Or he'll have games where he does the opposite and he goes, okay, Jalen and Jason are both playing really good. I'm just going to have to take a step back and let them do it. I think he's good on defense. He's good on offense. He shoots lights out from three.
If we're comparing the two, what does Pritchard do better than Beasley?
I think Beasley's had a really good year and he has helped the Pistons a lot get from, what were they last year like?
Lottery team.
Their lottery last year?
To top 6.
Yeah. A bad team. To pretty good this year. Like, they've been pretty good.
Yeah.
I just think Peyton Pritchard has better moments. I think he's had bigger games than Malik Beasley with the 40 points, stuff like that, where he'll have a game where you're just like, holy shit.
He's had one game.
No, but he's had a few 30-point games where you're like, oh.
But so has Beasley. So that's what I'm asking you. What has Pritchard done better than Beasley? Throughout the whole season, Malik Beasley definitely has had a greater impact. There's been other guys on that Pistons roster that have stepped up as well. But
I think you're almost sliding Cade Cunningham.
No, listen, because we'll get to Cade.
Cade's had a really good year.
We'll get to Cade. But Beasley coming over has definitely made an impact.
He really has, and he's been really good.
So what has he done better than Pritchard? What has he done better?
What has Malik done?
No, what has Pritchard done better than Beasley to deserve
this year?
Yeah.
I think he's just had an all-round better year. I don't think he's done one singular thing that I could just go, oh, that. I think he's just had an all-round better season. I think Malik Beasley's been really good as a leader and stuff. You've looked up Aaron Richard.
That was autocorrect. Let's look at the stats.
I got the stats right here.
Side by side.
Yep.
For both of them?
Yep, I got both.
Peyton Pritchard.
14.1.
14, 4, we're rounding. 3, 1. Shooting 47, 42, 85. Okay.
Now get up. Malik Beasley.
Beasley. 16, 3 and 2. A steal, shooting 44, 42.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Very close
statistically. I think they're very close. And that's kind of what I was trying to say. They're not doing anything so much better than the other this year. Like, I can't sit here and be like, oh, Beasley is this much better this year at this. And we'll go, Peyton Pritchard is that much better than Beasley.
Kind of going back, like we just looked at the stats. Yeah. We also need to look at the impact that isn't measured down or isn't taken down on the stat sheet.
Yeah.
I think Beasley's the better defender. And I don't think that's close.
I think he is the better defender.
I think he's more of a hustle player. I think you're underrating Peyton's hustle there by a bit. Like Pritchard's good, but I think in terms of stats that aren't measured, like points, rebounds, assists, Beasley is the impact player. Yeah, I think you are right. Pritchard's had the moments. I think that's what it is for me. I think as well. But in terms of a consistently good season, on and off the stat sheet, I think Beasley deserves it. I think Beasley's been really good. But I think Payne's just been a little bit better. Okay. I think it's really close. And I think, not even talking about Ty Jerome from us two, it's kind of slightly a little bit. He's got a really good season. Ty Jerome's also had he's had an amazing year. He's had an excellent year. And I think it's a big reason the Cavs are doing it as well. They are coming off the bench, having to play the way he's played. He's had a great season. Yeah. I think the other two they're a lot better. Yeah. I think they just cleared him. Ty Jerome's a great player. Yeah.
think as well with Peyton, I think what helps him in a lot of people's minds, even mine a bit, other than being a Celtics fan, is we've seen him do it recently on a big stage. Whereas Beasley, like...
But I don't think you can count that towards 6 man, right?
I know, but it's
like
same as like the MVP and stuff like that.
Not really.
You do try and think of just this year.
Yeah.
But you always think back. Like when a player, for example, when a player has had a big moment in the past and they do something during the year a few times, you go, yeah, well, they've done this. And because it's not like a once in their career thing, you're like, they're better. You know what I mean? Like you think of them as being better as well because they've done it on a big stage.
I'm not looking at that at all. I'm just looking at this year. That's like
I said that would be a big reason, I think, as to why people would put money on Peyton over Malik Beasley.
Okay.
I think that goes into a lot of people's minds.
Okay. All right. So you got Pritchard.
Yeah.
I've got Beasley.
Yeah.
Most improved.
I actually didn't have anything on most improved.
Okay.
I had nothing on most improved.
Okay. I think I touched on it a little bit with the Pistons.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Cade is... I mean, yeah, he's led a team from
lottery to top 6.
Top 6, and they've had a really good year.
He's got his first All-Star nod this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's been healthy. He's played.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure almost every game.
Like I can't think of anyone else I would have above him.
No.
There's no one jumping out at me that I'm like, oh, you were okay last year and you're really good this year.
Yeah.
There's just not really.
No, the only other person that I could think about for MIP is Dyson Daniels. Because he went from being a non-rotation player on the Pelicans to being probably the second or third best player on the Hawks. And in that DPOY race.
Yeah, I just wouldn't have him close to Cade.
I would have him as a second, but I would still have Cade first, and he's my pick.
Odds? Let's have a look what the odds are. Most improved odds.
But I would have Dyson at a number 2.
NBA odds, right? 2025. Cade and Dyson. Cade's playing $1.45. Dyson Daniels playing $2.75.
So
Christian Braun at 31.
Christian Braun could be a good pick as well.
Tyler Hero at 36. Evan Mobley at 81.
I would still go Cade.
I would definitely go Cade. I was more thinking like I don't know whether Tyler Hero is on like a most improved list.
I could see him making the top 5. He's not going to get it. But
I don't know whether we've seen him be quite good, not consistently like he has this year, but that's more because he wasn't number 1 until this year. It's not like most improved where it was like, it's a bit different in my eyes because he's getting the numbers because he's getting the ball a lot more.
Well, he's been steadily good, right? Like he was 6 man. He's never really had a bad season.
That's what I mean. Like it's not like a jump.
No, I think it's just kind of like a gradual improvement.
Yeah, and that's not really a most improved in my mind for a 1 year thing.
No, I think most improved is kind of like with MVP. I think you factor in team success a little bit, and I'm definitely doing that with Cade.
Yeah, I think you do that with most of these awards. You factor in team success because when you're saying they're the best at whatever they do, if your team's going terribly, it's like, well, great, you're good at what you do, but how are you affecting the team?
Yeah.
I think it happens with a lot of them, and I do think Cade has been a massive part of it.
100%.
On his run. So, yeah, that's my awards, who I would have as we stop. I think the MVP is pretty much over. I think Shea will get it.
Yeah.
Evan Mobley is my defensive player of the year. You have Dyson Daniels. We both have Stephon Castle.
Yeah.
I had Peyton Pritchard. You had Malik Beasley.
Yeah.
And then I had nobody. You had Cade Cunningham, which in my eyes would... Yeah, makes sense. That would, that's about it, really.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Dyson Daniels won it, because I could make the same argument that I said for DPOY, right? Because he went from being playing 0 minutes to being how he is now.
Yeah, but I don't think that's really an argument for defensive player of the year. Because defensive player of the year, that's an argument for most improved.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what my argument would be for most improved, as well as what I was saying for DPOY.
Yeah. So moving on,
Yeah.
we have UFC Fight Night coming up this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Touch on it quickly because we do have Leon Edwards, the former champ, coming back. He's fighting. We haven't heard a lot about Leon since he's lost Bilal Muhammad, which was...
I don't think I've really seen anything.
I haven't seen anything about him.
Only recently I've seen some workout videos from him.
Even then, they're not really out there that much. I haven't seen too much from him.
Well, he posts them from his channel, right?
Yeah.
But other than that, I haven't really seen anything else since he lost to Bilal.
Yeah, and I think it was more because of the way he lost. Coming into that fight, everyone was a bit worried about the wrestling, but just all-round fight, he was just not there mentally.
No.
He just didn't look a part of it. Him and Izzy looked the exact same the way they lost their belts.
Yeah.
Izzy to Strickland, obviously, and Leon to Bilal. And what hurt me the most watching him lose that fight was as soon as he turned it on for 30 seconds, he elbows Bilal, causes a massive cut. Bilal is reeling. 30 seconds left in the fight, and Leon's now throwing elbows, throwing hands, and it looks like, holy shit, Leon would have won this fight if he had turned up mentally.
Yeah. Well, it just kind of touching on what you said, it's just that last minute of the last round, he turned it on. And if he had done that, even from the third,
he probably wins the fight.
He probably wins the fight, exactly.
Which is what is shit, because it's well, what, you just didn't feel like fighting.
Yeah.
You're the champion. That's not how you can go about it, buddy.
I mean, this will be a good bounce back. It is Sean Brady now. It was Jack Della Maddalena.
Yeah, it was.
Before he got bumped up to fight Bilal.
Yeah.
I think this is a good matchup for Leon. He is the underdog, but I'll be honest, similar to what I said, he is. But similar to what I said about Gaethje last week, I think a lot of it, everyone kind of remembers Leon as the guy from 6 months ago that didn't really try in his championship fight. Yeah. And I think Sean Brady is coming off of 2 or 3 wins in a row. So I understand why he's the favourite. I hope Leon bounces back and looks more like himself.
I do.
So
I really like Leon.
Me too.
He was one of my favourite fighters when he was the champ, and even before he was the champ, when he was fighting Kamaru, I was rooting for him over Kamaru. But even now I think about that fight, I think about, the chat he had at the end of round 4, leading into round 5.
Yeah.
He's pretty much getting told by his coaches, you're giving up.
I think
this is the fight of your life. What are you doing?
I think he doubts himself a little bit.
I think he must, yeah, because there's a little bit even watching that fight, other than that one head kick,
Kamaru was winning.
Smashing him. And he didn't look like he wanted to be there, really. He just threw the head kick and won the fight. Maybe it's his mannerisms as well. He's I don't know, that laid back. He's got that demeanour of, I'm not bouncing around.
No, he's a laid back fighter. Yeah. He's a counter striker.
Yeah.
So I think, all that kind of plays a factor, but what I would love to see from Leon is just aggression. I'd like to see him on the front foot. I'd like to see him initiating. I know he's not a grappler, but it'd be nice to see him initiate some sort of grappling.
Yeah.
Especially if, since he wins this fight, he could be next in line for a title shot. He's still the number 1 contender. He
is, yes, and which is another reason why it's a bit shocking that there hasn't been anything about him. He's still the number 1 contender. If I just lost my belt, I'm still the number 1 contender. I'd want to get back. I wouldn't be sitting there going, well, I don't know, let's just do a fight night. Why didn't you step in? Why didn't you fight Shavkat? I know Shavkat was meant to fight Bilal. And then Ian Gary jumps in. Why weren't you anywhere near that? Even your name. Just hearing your name
yeah, that's a good point.
Why did no one talk about you? If you're the number 1 guy, and they had a fight that was meant to be against the champion, and they put someone else in because the champion had to pull out, why were you not even in the conversation?
Yeah.
You weren't even anywhere to be seen.
Yeah.
That, to me, was a bit weird. I don't think Dana likes him that much because he's a bit boring. He's so laid back, so into himself, so introverted.
Well, he's not the most active fighter either.
Yeah.
Really. So
I think that is a big reason why, but
I am excited to see him. I hope he bounces back.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about some of the other fights that are going on. Co-main, Jan Blachowicz and Carlos Ulberg.
Mm-hmm.
I'm quite excited for this one. Ulberg's been on a bit of a tear lately.
Yeah, he's been on a bit of a tear. He's been pretty good.
I'm quite excited to see him up against Blachowicz.
And what are they ranked?
3 and 6.
3 and 6, yeah. So this is a big fight for the both of them because Jan wins. He puts himself back in the conversation of, I'm ready to do a contenders fight, or if someone else loses,
I'm ready to step up in the
title fight. Whereas if he loses, where's he going to go for it to?
Yeah.
He takes a massive step back. On the flip side,
if Ulberg wins,
it's look, I just beat the number 3. Give me a contenders. I don't think he's ready for a title yet, but you go, give me a fight against one of the top ranked. I'm going to prove to you I should be in the title.
Well, something that I would like to see. Right. Let me double check this before I say it.
Because you don't want another moment where you said Jalen Brown's better than Jason Tatum. That was just embarrassing.
But he is. All right. So the current rankings, right?
Yeah,
so after last weekend, you've got Uncle Ive as the champion.
Mm-hmm.
Pereira won.
Yeah, obviously.
What I wanted to check is where Prohaska was, and he's number 2. I thought he was number 2. I just wanted to check.
I would have guessed that. Yeah.
If Ulberg beats Blachowicz, I would like to see a matchup with Yuri.
Yeah.
And then I think if he beats Yuri, it's already been confirmed, Uncle Ive Pereira rematch.
I was about to say, well, you've already got the Uncle Ive Pereira rematch.
Yeah.
If he wins that fight that he's doing now, and then he fights Yuri, it's going to be a winner versus winner situation.
Yeah.
Well,
because if Alex loses again, you're not going to give him another rematch. But then if Alex wins, you're not going to do another instant rematch with Uncle Ive.
You would give Pereira, Yuri, or...
You'd give him 2 or 3.
Yuri or Jan, and you'd say, okay, Magomed, you're going to have a fight against somebody else, and then you're going to come back and you're going to fight for the title after that.
So
you did have the title.
What I would like to see for Ulberg going forward, if he beats Blachowicz, I would like to see him fight Yuri.
Yep.
And then a potential title fight.
Yep.
I mean,
if he wins.
If he wins, and I think that's a very realistic pathway for him. I don't think that's...
And that's where his career's looking.
Yeah, I don't think that's very out of the blue.
In his camp, he's thinking about that right now. Ulberg, I think it's a must-win for him too. He's been on a tear. It would be massive for his rankings.
Yeah.
He'd probably take straight to the 3 spot, you would guess. But
that's what they normally do. So they normally just swap them straight out. So
I don't know if I really love it all the time when they do that, because it's like, well, these other 2 blokes didn't lose a fight to lose their spots. Like,
I mean, it makes sense, but like...
It does a bit, but I don't know, sometimes it's like, I think it just depends on the situation.
Yeah. One that I'm very excited about.
So there's another fight. Kevin Holland is fighting.
One of my favourite fighters for absolutely no reason, because let's be real, he's actually not that good.
He's so annoying.
He annoys me so much, but God, I love him.
He's funny. I'll give him that. He is so funny.
Like, I bet on him every single time.
He would lose.
And he loses for me every single time.
He would lose you so much money.
But he might be the only person that I can put money on and not get angry when he loses, because he still takes the piss out of it.
I'd still get pissed. But
I hope he bounces back, right? Because he's coming off of 2 losses, one against Roman Dolidze, where he broke his rib. So that
I do remember that fight.
That one I can't fault him for. If you have a broken rib, and you're a bit of a grappler, that's hard.
Yeah, it was a hard position for him to be in. Of course he's going to stop the fight.
Yeah, and then he fought in January on Islam's card versus Reina Ritter.
Don't even remember that.
Well, it's because he got submitted in like the first round. Pretty convincingly as well, right? He didn't really put up much. I think with Kevin Holland, he's a fun fighter. He's a funny fighter. But it's almost like as soon as he starts losing,
it's over.
He gives up. He mentally checks out. So and he just wants to make it as entertaining as possible.
Who is he fighting? Because I don't actually know who he's fighting. I knew he was fighting. I just don't know.
He's fighting Gunnar Nelson. I don't know a whole lot about Gunnar Nelson.
Let's have a look. Gunnar Nelson.
He's the favourite.
Is he a grappler? Is he a striker?
He's a submission artist. 12 first-round finishes. His record is 19-5-1. 13 wins by submission, 4 by knockout.
Here's the best question, though. Where's he from?
Iceland.
Okay, so it's winnable. When you said submission artist, I was like, okay, we got problems if he's from two places. He's from Russia, or around Russia,
yeah,
or Brazil.
yeah.
Anywhere else, he's got a chance.
Well, I don't know if maybe he was injured,
Yeah.
but he hasn't fought since March 2023. So a very extended layoff.
Yeah, it's going to be rusty.
Right. So this will be his first fight in,
Kevin Holland.
what's the date? This will be his first fight in like literally 2 years.
Yeah, pretty much 2 years.
Whereas Kevin Holland, while he hasn't really looked good, he's active.
Mm.
And then there's a couple other guys, Jai Herbert's fighting. That could be entertaining.
There's always a few good fights on fight nights. They're not like massive names. Like I think the average person who watches UFC every now and again wouldn't know who's fighting.
No, they would know Leon Edwards, probably.
Maybe Sean Brady.
If you're from around here, like Australia and New Zealand, you would know Carlos Solberg.
Yeah.
The
other one they would know is Kevin Holland. Maybe. They probably know him, but they don't.
They probably know of him. They just don't know who he is.
They just know he chats. But
so
I think it's a good fight night. It's actually a really good fight night, guys.
It is. I'm pretty excited to see how it turns out. It's one of those early ones though. Main card starts at 7 a.m.
Okay, when you said early, I was expecting like 5.
Oh no!
I was like, here we go.
No, not Abu Dhabi early.
7 a.m. not too bad.
No, 7 a.m. is not terrible.
Yeah, that's alright.
It's better than Izzy's last fight card.
Yeah,
What was that, like 5 a.m. was the main event.
That was a shocker.
Woke up at 1 in the morning to watch Izzy get knocked out. It's a terrible morning.
I didn't wake up. I said, I'll skip it. I watched the highlights and it didn't take me long.
Yeah.
Get on live. Alright. So, is that everything?
I think that's everything we have on the agenda for
That is
today.
everything for this week. So this week we've spoken a lot about the NBA.
Yeah.
Spoke about the playing picture, the awards, the AD situation, how that's looking to shape up. We've also spoken on the fight night card that is coming up this Sunday. That would be March 23rd, maybe the date.
Yeah.
So that was our segments for this week in that order as well. So if you're looking to jump on and you wanted to go straight to the UFC, I'd hit around that 50-minute mark, that 45 to 50-minute mark. That's about when it started. So that ends podcast number 3 for us for the Off the Bench podcast. We hope you enjoyed the listen and you come back for more. Subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, but also our YouTube channel where you can watch the podcast if you would like.
And for those asking, Apple Podcasts is coming very soon, where we will go and upload all previous episodes as well, starting from episode 1. It just takes a little bit longer for that to get started, but it is coming soon for those of you that have been asking me. Follow our socials, follow Spotify, YouTube, Instagram,
Off the Bench
Podcast.
Off the Bench Pod, you might have to look up as well.
Yeah, if there's anything that you guys want to see, leave it in the comments, let us know. We always, love more feedback.
Yeah, we love the feedback. We'd love to hear from you guys to see what else we should put in.
Yeah.
There is an MMA and fighting styles tier list coming. We did see that comment.
Yeah.
We just had a lot more news to do this week.
Yeah, there's been a lot going on in the NBA, but we did see that comment, so there will be some kind of UFC tier list coming soon.
Yes. So, like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys.